morning, everyone. My name is Jody Huang, and I'm the Community Relations Officer of the Toronto Catholic District School Board. Today, we are so happy to welcome you and that you join us to celebrate our Lunar New Year 2025. And we are joined here by Bo Caranjas, a very, very good guest speaker workshop who knows so much about the Lunar New Year. But before we do call her, we will first start with our land acknowledgement and prayer. And I'd like to call on our art resource teacher, Marilyn Arturi, to lead us in our land acknowledgement, and then followed by Bob Longo, our music resource teacher, to lead us in prayer. So take it away, Marilyn.
The land we walk on belongs to the Creator. Earth does not belong to humanity, but rather humanity is part of the earth. The land was created to be enjoyed by all living beings, a principle reflected in the dish with one spoon covenant, taking only what we need to preserve our earth for future generations, leaving some for others as a sign of our respect and caring, and keeping it clean by revitalizing the land to sustain generations to come. All Toronto Catholic District School Board properties are situated on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabeg, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat people. We recognize that the land covered by Treaty 13 is held by the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. We also listen to the echoes of their prayers to the Creator and respect the beauty of Mother Earth while striving to learn and draw wisdom from First Nations, Inuit, and Métis traditions.
And let's sign ourselves as we always do in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. In God's eyes, our greatness as a community comes from living His witness. Jesus gives us strength to live this way, to become all that God calls us to be. He calls us from many cultures and nationalities. He inspires us to shine His light in our families, in our communities, in the church, and in our schools, to lead by example. The Lunar New Year is a time of reflection, renewal, and reconnection. It's also a time to come together and look forward to a new beginning. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you so much, Marilyn and Bob. And now I'd like to introduce our special guest this morning. Her name is Bo Caranches, and she is a Chinese Canadian public speaker. Bo currently is a business owner and a mother of 3 kids. And she is a former competitive pianist and daughter of Juno and Dora Award winners Chen Cannon and Alice Ho Peng. So let's welcome Bo. Take it away, Bo.
Hi guys, thank you so much, Jody. It's so nice to be here again. I've been hosting this video for Lunar New Year now for the 3rd year, and it's just an honor to come here again and to share my story. If this is your first time learning about Lunar New Year, the celebration in Chinese music, by the end of this video, you'll know so much more than you did this morning. And I'm going to share a little secret with you right off the bat. Even though my ethnic background is Chinese, I was born here in Toronto. So I didn't even know too much about Lunar New Year. I learned so much since I started presenting to students like you. There's a lot to talk about, so let's jump right in. I'll be taking you on a journey to explore, understand, and reflect on Lunar New Year and Chinese music and what it means to me and how it means different things for everyone. At the end of this workshop, you'll also be able to make your own Lunar New Year music so that you can celebrate in your own special way. Let's get started. So, before we go off to celebrate Lunar New Year, which starts Saturday, by the way, today we're going to learn all about 2 different styles of celebrating Lunar New Year and the music that goes along with it. One style of Lunar New Year celebration is traditional and practiced in native Asian countries where celebration and beliefs around the lunar calendar are really strong. The other is a modern celebration practiced by people who live outside of Asian countries but are still connected to Chinese or Asian heritage, like here in Canada. During both of these celebrations for the new year, they have something in common. Music is a very important symbol of the culture, and hearing music that belongs to a culture can instantly connect us to it. The theme today is to show you how Lunar New Year means different things for everyone, and that while some traditions and practices are shared, all types of Asian people and non Asian people can celebrate differently and identify with their heritage in their own way, especially here in Canada. Okay, so who am I and why am I the best person to take you on this Lunar New Year discovery? Anyone can do it, but why am I here? Why was I chosen? Well, like your own story, my story is very unique. I'm a public speaker and a mom, and I know a lot about music because I started competing in piano competitions since I was 8. And then I played violin in an orchestra when I was 9, and then I learned to play the guitar. So I had to practice a lot. I was born into the world of music and arts because both my mom and my dad are well known musicians, composers, and professors of music. So they also became musicians and composers during a time when it was not popular for Chinese people to make music in Canada. But they became successful, and many of their songs have taken sounds from their native background, so their Chinese background, and it's through their music and through their stories that I learned about my Chinese heritage, and this is all part of why I'm here today. My story matters because even though it's unique, it's a story that many of you can relate to. Maybe you too were born in Canada, and maybe you play hockey in this winter weather, or maybe you ride the TTC every day, or love poutine like I do. But you can learn a lot about your own heritage through your parents. And this is how I discovered all the cool things about Lunar New Year and Chinese music. And there was one important thing that I did get all my information. There's one important thing that I had to do to get this info, and that was to ask a lot of questions. And when I asked my questions, I put on my thinking cap. Here I go. Here's my thinking cap. Yes, this hat is a little silly, but it's really important. I'm I'm putting it on because I want to ask questions. I want to use my thinking and my brain, and I want to learn more about another person's culture. I have to ask all these questions, especially when you're talking about culture, ancient traditions, and this rich history. It's really important to keep an open mind, and we should also remember that someone's background might not always match how they see themselves. So, not everyone from the same culture has the same experiences or beliefs. Learning about your own heritage is a special journey just for you. So when I wear my thinking cap, let's take the time to ask good questions and learn about Lunar New Year in a thoughtful way. Okay, I'll take it off for now. Today, we're going to learn about two types of celebration, like we said, and music, two types of music. Native Chinese music and native Chinese New Year traditions. Native means coming from its origin or its original home. And the second type is contemporary Chinese music and modern ways to celebrate Lunar New Year. First, what is Lunar New Year? Lunar New Year is a festival that's been celebrated for thousands of years in Asian countries and non-Asian countries all over the world. It marks the beginning of a new year on the lunar calendar versus the new year that most of us celebrate in Canada. We follow the solar calendar, which is 365 days, the time it takes for the Earth to complete one whole circle around the sun. But the lunar calendar goes by the 12 full cycles of the moon. So that's why it's different. It's also referred to the Spring Festival because it marks the end of winter. And I really hope that this Saturday is the end of winter, but probably not. And the beginning of spring. So hopefully spring is around the corner. This is also the year of the snake. So there's my little snake guy for you. All right. Okay, so let's put our thinking caps on. Our first question. Where does Lunar New Year come from? This is a really big one because there's so much to learn about where it comes from and why we celebrate. It begins with a wild myth that was written about the legend of a beast named Nian in the early 20th century, a long time ago. I'm going to play a short video clip about this story. Okay, 1 second here. All right.
A long, long time ago in China, there was a big, scary, nasty beast named Nian, whose name means year. He had razor sharp teeth, giant claws, and a really mean growl. Most of the time he lived in the wilderness, but on the darkest night of the year, when the new moon was in the sky, he would sneak into the village and scare everyone in sight, even the animals. People dreaded the new moon for many, many years, until a wise man taught them the 3 things Nian was afraid of: loud noises, fire, and the color red. The next time Nian came, the villagers fought back. They hit their drums as loud as they could, lit every firecracker they had, and wore the color red from head to toe. Nian ran far away and never came back. After that, the people started celebrating the new moon instead of fearing it. That celebration became a 15-day festival of family, food, and good fortune called Lunar New Year.
Okay. So, sorry, let me get back here. Flip full screen. There we go. Oh, is that working? No. Okay, hang on 1 second. Okay, so let's just open this up for everybody. Yes, that's better. Okay. Okay, so that was a little short clip about the story of Neon and how it all came about. Here, I'm gonna get back to my screen. Okay. Sorry about this, guys. Are we there yet? Let's see. Let's see if
Oh,
we're
while
there.
you're
Very close.
flipping through, I was just going to ask you a question. So, I knew that red was important in the Chinese culture, but I didn't know why. And that video just told me. So, I actually wore a red shirt today. So, I'm hoping that that can bring us good luck today too.
Yes, Rob, it does bring good luck, and that's why I wanted to show the video. The red was apparently a scary color for this monster, so that's why we wear red, and it brings good luck. And I'm just gonna stop sharing here so I can fix my presentation. I'm really sorry about this, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. Okay, we're almost there. I'm so sorry. Presenter view. Here we go. Oh, we're almost there. So close. Okay, got it. And down here. Okay, let's see. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to my screen and present. Share screen. Oh boy, this is giving me so much trouble. Let's see, one more time. Okay, there we go. Here. Did I make it back? Almost. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Here we go. All right, so we just learned about the story of Nian, and now we're going to talk about the celebrations that we do now. How do the people celebrate? Okay. And one of the ways that we celebrate is that we, let me see here. Oh, okay, good. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so I learned that Lunar New Year is celebrated differently all over the world, and traditionally in a native Asian country, Lunar New Year's Eve and New Year's Day are days where families get together for 15 days, and schools are on holiday, just like we do over Christmas and New Year's. And I'm going to try to play you a short clip now of Lunar New Year in native countries. And I will share my screen again. Here we go. Okay, go to the slide here.
Celebrations. Today, Lunar New Year brings families together all over the world. In fact, billions of people travel back to their homes and families in China to feast on a delicious reunion dinner with plates and plates of homemade food. Many egg rolls symbolize wealth for the coming year because they look like bars of solid gold. Chow mein noodles shouldn't be cut because long noodles symbolize health for a long life. Shrimp symbolizes happiness because the Mandarin words for shrimp and smile sound very similar. As part of the festivities, lucky red envelopes called hongbao are passed out to children as well as unmarried adults. In Chinese culture, the color red symbolizes luck. In order to receive the red envelopes, well wishes are given to the elders. Thank you, Grandpa. Money is inside each envelope to bring prosperity and good fortune in the coming year. During all 15 days of Lunar New Year, it is a time to reflect on the passing year and celebrate the future. Bright fireworks light up the sky, and huge parades line the streets until the final day of the New Year celebration, the Lantern Festival, when thousands of red lanterns glow in the night to bring good fortune to all. No matter where you live, you can join the festivities, whether it's one reunion dinner with your family or 15 days of celebrating togetherness.
Okay. Okay, so everyone can see this? Okay, great. Okay, so that was a little short clip. I'm so glad I could navigate that. It's my first time, sharing the screen, so bear with me. But I got it. I think I got it now. Okay. So in that video, we saw that people celebrate very differently in native Chinese countries. What they get is a holiday. It's a very important celebration, so they take time off school. In Canada, something that marks Lunar New Year here are dragon dances. You've probably seen these guys before, maybe at a festival in Chinatown or even at a presentation at the mall. Chinese dragons represent power and strength and good luck. The Chinese believe that performing the dragon dance during festivals and celebrations will drive away evil spirits and bring good luck and blessings for the community. So the dragon and lions dance to the beat of drums. But the beating of the drums actually brings us to our next topic about Lunar
Sorry,
New
Bo.
Year.
I'm just going to
Oh,
interrupt you for 1 second. Some of our friends out there are saying that it's hard to hear you. Do you happen to have a headset that you could plug in?
oh, mm, I don't actually. So if I move closer, can you hear me better?
We'll see if that works. Okay, thanks.
Let me just check. And yeah, I'm so sorry for the glitches. I thought we sort of went through them this morning. Let
Well,
me
we can
see
hear you
here.
fine, but somehow the students that are watching the broadcast are having a harder time. So it's we're not really sure why that's happening.
Oh, I understand. Okay. Would you like me to continue?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. I'm just gonna go through my audio and see if I can figure out. Let's see the mic. Microphone. Let's see if this works now. Hello, hello. Testing,
I
testing. Can everyone hear me? Oh, good. Oh, you can hear Mr. Bob perfectly. Okay. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't know why I can't hear me here.
maybe check in your settings
Mm-hmm.
and then go to audio.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Anyone? Hello?
It's funny because I can hear you fine, so I can't really answer the question. So we'll just see in the chat.
Yeah, I have adjusted all the sound in terms of internally here. So it sounds good to us. I'm even on the live and I can hear it perfectly as well. So
Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll continue and then it might be better for a recording for everyone to see later. I'm just trying to navigate here. I've got echo cancellation on. I'm not sure if I should take that off.
I don't think that would matter. I think probably it would be a
no, I think it's like your settings because the ones
good
internally
idea
I've
to go ahead
adjusted.
and recording because
Yeah.
the recording should be fine.
Like my settings are on my end here. Can anyone hear me now? Hello?
Yes, I think you should just go ahead.
Okay, I'll just go ahead here. Okay. That is so strange. Let me see. Okay, well, let me just try one more thing here. Carmela, do you have any like tips on maybe on my end what I should choose in my audio settings in StreamYard?
So in StreamYard, I've already adjusted yours. I think it's more of your own. I think the reason we're heard so well is because we're on headsets.
Okay. Let me just see if I can get a headset. One moment.
Yep.
Hello? Audio mic. Okay, I'm testing now. Can everyone hear me?
Sounds great. It does sound clearer. So I'm sure it does sound better in general. If anybody in the
Okay,
chat
yeah,
can
because it looks
confirm,
like on my settings.
Woohoo!
great.
Is it working now? Yay! Oh my goodness. What a journey. Okay. Okay. We've got it. We're going to do this. I'm entering full screen. Look at that. That's even better. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. I'm really sorry. This is kind of like the first time we're juggling this setup. So we're going to get through this presentation. We are. Okay. Let's get on with the show. Okay, so I'm gonna take a deep breath now. All right, so we learned about where Lunar New Year came from and the origins. We're talking about Nian, this monster. It's just a myth, so like it's a story that was passed down from a long time ago, and that was the origin of why we have red envelopes and why we beat drums and why we have fireworks. It was to scare away this monster and bring in good luck and blessings to the community. And this is passed down from so many years ago. And now we celebrate with our friends and our family. During the celebrations, there's always music. And I was telling you about the dragons and how they dance to the beat of the drums. And that kind of brings us to our next topic. And that's about Chinese music for Lunar New Year celebrations.
Chinese music has a long, colorful history full of stories, traditions, and beautiful art forms, and it's no surprise that we'd be curious about music belonging to Lunar New Year. And it's a special time when we enjoy this type of music the most. There's many different types of Asian groups with their own kinds of music, like Filipino or Japanese, Tibetan music, or Korean music. But today I'm going to focus on Chinese music from China. I put my thinking cap on, and I also asked lots of questions about classical Chinese music, and I learned that there's two kinds of Lunar New Year music. The first is traditional classical music. Okay, so what is traditional classical Chinese music? It's a very ancient style of music, and it's one of the oldest art forms of humankind. And to show you just how old, here are some really old things. So, does anybody know how old the CN Tower is? The CN Tower is 52 years old. I mean, that's not that old. So that's pretty young, actually. So, but does anyone recognize this painting? This is a very famous painting called the Mona Lisa, and the Mona Lisa is 522 years old. Now that's pretty up there. And do you know what this building is? This building here is the Colosseum. It is one of the most interesting and oldest standing buildings in the world. The Colosseum is 1,953 years old, but Chinese music began in an even older era. Chinese music is the earliest record of classical Chinese music, over 7,000 years old. So we know that Chinese music has been around for a really long time, and now I'm going to show you what makes Chinese music special. I'm going to introduce some of these common instruments that composers of Chinese music will use, and also some patterns that they use too to make their music. I'm gonna just show you a few sound bites, and I'm gonna show you here. Share this tab. Okay, so we have this little flute. It's called a dizi, and it sounds like this. Okay, another one we have is a little guitar, a pipa. I'm just going to show you quickly because I know we're a little running behind. Okay, that's a very beautiful instrument. This is a gujian. Okay, this is kind of like a harp, as you can see, with strings across the board. This is what it's. Makes a very interesting sound. And also we have another type of flute. Oh, I'll show you this trumpet, actually. This trumpet is mostly made out of bamboo. Okay, so I'm going to share this tab here. Okay. Am I back? Yes, I'm back. Okay, it's working better now. Okay, here are my Chinese instruments. And let me see here. All these instruments are, as you can see, they're made out of natural elements of the earth. So you'll see bamboo and wood and metals, and sometimes even cow hide. So that's like a cow skin, leather. And because being connected to the nature was really, really important for Chinese culture. And as soon as you heard these sounds, I'm sure it kind of made you imagine Asian culture. These are instruments that are special to China, but to make traditional Chinese music, musicians don't just play the instruments, they also have to follow some special rules. Okay, so what are these special rules? We had to dig deeper, and so I put my thinking cap on, and I wanted to know what these special rules were that made this Chinese music. One of the most interesting things I learned was the pentatonic musical system. Chinese music is based on a system with 5 notes called the pentatonic musical system. So there's 5, and there's 5 notes that make Chinese music. So each note has a name and represents one of the 5 elements. So you've got metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, and these elements are also connected to the inside of a human body. For example, they match the main organs: heart, liver, lungs, kidney, and 5 senses: mouth, nose, eyes, ears, and even the 5 fingers on each hand. It's very interesting that notes are connected to the body. According to Chinese beliefs, hearing music based on the pentatonic system, so all the notes that I just showed you, can help people feel better and stay healthy. And it's also believed to bring harmony to nature and the world around us. Isn't that amazing? The ancient Chinese created music that's like a type of medicine. And this is why during Lunar New Year, you'll often hear classical Chinese folk music as part of the celebration. It's not just music, it's meant to bring healing and happiness. Now, here's an example of traditional Chinese music for Lunar New Year. Since this is sort of like an exciting and happy festival, the music that I'm going to play you is full of energy and positive spirit. And after this clip, I think that you'll probably feel that way too. So I'm just going to play it very shortly here. Here we go. Okay, see, that was really cheerful and happy and festive. And what's interesting was it used the 5 notes that I was just telling you about. All it used was those 5 notes. And maybe you think it's hard to, if you haven't made music before, it probably seems like a task that's really difficult or challenging because it's new. But did you know that you can make traditional Chinese music yourself? And it's super easy. And all you have to do is play the pentatonic scale. If you try it on a piano, all you need to do is play the black keys on a keyboard. And I'm going to show you how to do that. It's really easy and it's quite fun. And I'm going to show you on my online piano here. So you can access this at home if you have the internet, pianoplays.com, or if you have a piano at home, you can try this as well. For this exercise, I'm just going to use this online piano because it's easy. And all I'm going to do is press on the black keys. There's white keys here and there's black keys on top. I'm just going to press the black keys and you'll hear how much it sounds like Chinese music. So here I go. Okay, yay! I just made that up on the spot. It was so easy and anyone can do it. It's using the pentatonic scale and also the black keys on the piano. Okay, so now that we know about traditional Chinese music and how it's played, let's talk about how it's celebrated in places like Canada, because it's a little different here. In Canada, Lunar New Year can look and sound a little different, and it's because we have so many different cultures here. Sometimes when you mix cultures together, we call it fusion. And when 2 things come together, it makes something new. And for example, have you ever tried this? This is taco pizza or Mexican lasagna. These are fusion foods. They mix 2 different cultures, cultural dishes together to make a new one. It looks very yummy. This is just like how Lunar New Year music and celebrations in Canada can blend traditional practices with new ideas and sounds. Let's put our thinking caps back on and dig a little deeper. If we can understand a bit more about fusion, contemporary Chinese music and modern Lunar New Year will make a little bit more sense. Canada is a special country because people have come here from all over the world. We learn from each other's traditions, which creates unique celebrations, and we're surrounded by people from different cultures. And when we join together, we create fusion. In Canada, you'll see traditional symbols of Lunar New Year, like red decorations, long noodles, and Chinese folk music. So you will see some of the symbols and sounds from a native Asian country. But people also create their own modern ways to celebrate. As you can see, this classroom is full of kids from different backgrounds, enjoying symbols and some traditions of Lunar New Year. It shows us that we can celebrate in our own way, maybe even in a fusion way, creating different Lunar New Year celebrations in Canada. If we can take traditional Lunar New Year customs and make them our own fusion celebrations, then we can also create more modern versions of Chinese music. So as you can see, we had modern celebrations. That also means the music can change as well and become a little different from the native classical Chinese music that I just played you using that pentatonic scale. Contemporary or modern Chinese music is different because it doesn't always follow the traditional rules. Instead, composers, who are the people who write music, make new rules, new sounds, and new kinds of music. This was really interesting to me because I found out something I didn't know before. I found out by asking my parents more questions. What is Chinese modern music? And because my parents are Chinese Canadian musicians, I discovered that they used traditional Chinese music and mixed it with other kinds of music to create something new. They weren't born in Canada. This is them here. There's my mom, and there's my dad standing here. But because they weren't born in Canada and they grew up in Canada, this kind of influenced the music that they create. Sometimes they create fusion music that blends traditional Chinese sounds with Western styles, and their music is celebrated all over the world, and they've won lots of awards for them. It's really exciting to see also how people are using traditional sounds to create new music, and that it's a part of a new Lunar New Year celebration too. It's a great way to show how different cultures come together in Canada and how unique our traditions can be. Let me share an example of modern music so you can hear how Chinese and Western sounds are blended together for a Lunar New Year celebration. This is a piece composed by my mom, Alice Ho. It's called The Jubilation of Spring. Okay, so that was a piece by my mom. And what was interesting about it was that it took the pentatonic scale that I was talking to you about, but it used an orchestra. And an orchestra is made out of instruments from Europe. So this mix is really special because it shows how unique this music can be, using some traditional Chinese sounds in that patterning, that rule that I was talking about, the 5 pentatonic scale, and how we only use the black keys. Well, she used that, but she also took Western and European instruments. So when you blend them together, it's something new, it's something different. And it's really cool that this is celebrated now during Lunar New Year. And that song actually was like, if you listen to the whole piece, it's about the monster of Nian, and it's also about the festival of spring. So it's exactly what we're talking about today, but it's in this form of music, which is very cool. So this should remind everybody that Lunar New Year is experienced differently all over the world, but it's still meaningful to people. Even if you aren't from an Asian country, we celebrate really wonderfully in different ways in non-Asian countries too. Okay, so before we finish our video today, I want to go back to our keyboard. I'm going to show you how you can also create your own fusion style music. And I'm going to teach you how. I'm going to challenge you to have fun with the piano at home. You can, as I said, you can go online to pianoplays.com and try it out yourself, or go on to the piano that you have at home. And you're going to try mixing the traditional patterns you learned today with something new. So I'm going to go back to my piano here to show you what I'm talking about. Share this tab. So we know that in Chinese music, the rule was to use the 5 notes, which are the black keys. So these ones here. But to make a fusion, I challenge you to use the black notes in the pentatonic scale, but maybe mix it up with something like not Chinese words if you don't know them. I'm going to use an English nursery rhyme that everybody knows in my house, and it's called Jack and Jill. So I'm going to sing Jack and Jill in English rhyme, but use the Chinese pentatonic scale to make this fusion music. Okay, and my singing isn't so great, but my playing is good. So let's see how it sounds. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill went tumbling after. Okay, that was a little silly, but I hope you liked it, and I hope you understand that we can really create such wonderful things if we blend our cultures together. Now I'm just going to go back to my presentation here to show you my last photo. Before you go off to celebrate your own type of Lunar New Year, I really hope you enjoyed my presentation. Even though I had all these technical difficulties, now I've learned, we know how to navigate, and I hope you really enjoyed it. And, the question I ask with my thinking cap now to you is, how will you enjoy Lunar New Year? Will you celebrate traditions from a long time ago, like listening to traditional Chinese music or watching the dragon dance? Or will you try something new, like making modern Chinese music, or maybe cook a fusion recipe with Asian ingredients? No matter how you celebrate, remember that all these different ways are meaningful and special. And next time you hear music or join a cultural celebration, don't forget to put on your thinking cap. Ask the questions and learn the stories, and then you can share them with other people, just like I did today. So happy Lunar New Year, everybody.
Thank you so much, both. That was really wonderful. And I think today I learned so much about music and instruments. And I wonder if there are questions from students. And I'd like to ask if Bob is still here, what his reflections are in terms of music, the mainstream music. So I just like to connect the tradition and the modern. So I love the fusion that you're talking about. So, Bob, any reflections on that?
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was so interesting to hear about all the different ways that the music comes together with traditional Chinese music and contemporary Chinese music. Something that really struck me was the pentatonic scale in Chinese music, and the thing that is really wonderful is that so many cultures use the pentatonic scale in their traditional folk music. Even old um, songs from North America use it, and in the indigenous culture, the pentatonic scale is very, very prevalent. And I really like I learned how the pentatonic scale was used as healing, as medicine, and so it's always really neat to find the fusion and the similarities between other cultures and how we are all really so much the same. Even though we might have outward differences, we really find a lot of things that are really unifying about us. So that was a really great thing.
That's right.
Jody, Jody,
Yes.
do we have any questions that have come in to you?
Well, right now I don't have, but I just want to extend that. Oh, so we actually have an email. You can still send your questions to me, and right now I still haven't received anything, but there were request for the recording, and we would see how that goes after some technical glitches today. But I also would like to ask reflection from Marilyn about art, because music is yeah, it's art, and I wonder if there's any other connections that Miss Marilyn Arturi can make.
Hi, yes. Bo, that was a beautiful, first of all, let me just congratulate you on the beauty of your of your presentation.
Thank
We
you.
love the animations and all the images that you put together. I am very taken by the color that comes out of Lunar New Year and the various ways in which people wear their beautiful clothing. Because there's an art in and a design in fashion, and the traditional and non-traditional clothing that's worn, and also the incredible dragon dance. That is something that I think, I mean, how heavy are those dragons and how much athleticism goes into the dancing itself?
Yeah, actually, I had the opportunity to hold a dragon head one time, and I was younger. It's actually very light. What I loved about the dragon heads is that um, there are these levers that the dancers will hold, and if you press the levers down, the dragon eyes blink. So it's really cool. It's really a cultural costume that I think is beautiful, and everybody knows it. That's another thing. It's so famous. And as soon as somebody sees a dragon costume, they know exactly where this culture is coming from. They know exactly it's celebrating Lunar New Year, and it's good luck, and it's exciting, and it's got this like power to it because you can almost hear the beating of the drums in the background, at least for me. So, yeah, I agree with you, Marilyn.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And who makes, one last question, Bo, who would make the dragon costumes?
So I don't know in particular costume. I believe costume designers would make them, but I'm sure there are a lot of Asian artists in the community that will design dragon costumes. I know there's a lot of festivals that require like this presentation, so I'm sure there's lots of artists out there that construct dragon costumes out there.
Thank you, Bo.
Yes, thank
There's
you.
another question, Bo, before I leave you. The what does the year of the snake symbolize? I don't
Pardon
know
me?
if this
Oh,
year of the
snake.
snake.
The year
Yes.
of the snake.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, I don't know, because I don't know anyone in the year of the snake. Um, but let me just look that up right now. The year of the snake. Meaning, yeah, I don't. So I'm born in the year of the rabbit. My grandmother was born in the year of the dragon. That was last year. So I'm seeing that snakes are considered the symbols of harvest, procreation, spirituality, and good fortune, as well as some threat. So yeah, I don't know. I
Oh,
just there's something
that's
to threat there.
interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
And here's another question. Like in terms of the music, the beautiful traditional instruments you have shown,
Hmm.
do you know which ones are still being used now as a mainstream? Like all these Chinese instruments, are they still very much being used to this day?
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. So, one instrument that I see out of the ones that I've chose here, actually two of them, my parents use all the time. So we have two of these instruments at my family home. One is called the pipa, which is this Asian guitar, and the other is the erhu. So I've seen so many performances by my parents where they have this erhu player or a pipa player. And these two instruments for sure are being used all the time because the sounds are so pronounced, they're so unique, and they really symbolize this like Asian
Mhm.
feeling and this exotic type of culture. So it's really popular among composers.
That's great. Okay, so I think that summarizes our workshop this morning. If there are still any other last words that Bob or art resource teacher Marilyn want to say, and even Carmela, thank Carmela as well for helping us with the technical aspects. So
My
any
pleasure.
reflections before we go, and say thank and bye bye to Bo.
Just thank you so much. It's been really, really great, really informative, and always great to see you. And thanks for sharing all your history and all your information.
Thank
Yes,
you
thank
so
you.
much, Bob. Yes, and I apologize for the glitches, but I'm so glad it worked out in the end. And I found this headset just,
You were so quick actually looking for that headset. So thank you so much.
yeah.
You're so cool as well. You know, you did not panic. I love it. I love it.
Hmm. Thank you
Happy
so
Lunar
much,
New Year,
Bo.
everyone.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
Lunar New Year. Have a
Happy
good one.
Happy New
New Year.
Year.
Have a
Bye
good one.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.